So if you're thinking about editing Wikipedia or you're a new editor, I think it's really important to find a group of people that care about similar topics as you or can keep you going and keep you feeling supported as you learn the ropes, because it can be a little confusing on the site and sometimes you'll run into assholes on the site. And at least for me, the closest I've ever gotten to quitting was when I got really unsupportive comments from other editors, and especially when they felt dismissive. Like I had just done a lot of work. I'd tried to do something new and it was really hard to figure out. And then someone just deleted my change. And that felt really hurtful. And it felt like, why would I continue? So, both for your enjoyment of the site and willingness to continue on the site, and also just to, make it more interesting for you and help you discover new things and make it easier for you, I think it's really important to find your people on Wikipedia. So let's get into the ways you can find good wiki projects for you. And there's a couple different ways to do this. Number one, I would say, go to an article you're interested in or an article you'd like to learn more about editing, and then go to the talk page, and there should be a list of wiki projects that other editors thought were relevant. And so it's not an exhaustive list. This is just by chance whoever worked on the article decided to add a wiki project there. And this is a good way to discover new projects, especially projects that are heard of and active recently, because, if it's not a very active project, it's probably not getting put on that list. Second, I would say there are a couple different directories of wiki projects that you can look in. I find these a little overwhelming. Like, you pull up to this page and there's just this huge index of different categories. But if you know that, like, hey, I really care about editing about my area, then this is a good spot to look for it. Depending on how popular Wikipedia editing is where you live, these might be really useful projects to you or maybe really frustratingly vague. Like, some cities have wiki projects, especially in the US, especially big cities, and some of them are more active than others. In other countries, Wikipedia editors are very underrepresented. So these wiki projects might not even be for small regions of the country. They might just be for the whole country, or sometimes even for the whole continent, and the country's wiki project is not active. I think a safer bet for finding wiki projects is on the topic of interest. Honestly, some of the biggest topics on Wikipedia also have some of the biggest wiki projects, and so, there's ones for trains and roads and military history, etc. But there's also wiki projects that are very active that are dedicated to including topics that are less represented on Wikipedia. One of the most popular wiki projects right now is called Women in Red, and it started by editors noticing that less than 20% of the biographies on Wikipedia were about women. And so they wanted to make a project to fill in times where women's names were mentioned in this encyclopedia, but there was no article about them. And so they started linking those women's names, and even though there was no article, the link would appear as a red link, and once you made an article, it would turn blue because it became a normal clickable link. And so they're trying to fill in these red links to make the history of women a little bit more inclusive on the encyclopedia. The group also contributes to biographies of gender minority, gender diverse, non-binary individuals, and any editors can participate in the group. It just means that you care about the subject and you want to contribute. So plenty of people have been filling in biographies, and over time, the proportion of biographies that are just devoted to men has dropped. So there are a lot of types of editors on Wikipedia, and if you don't like the idea of adding new content from scratch, you might not actually care about joining a wiki project dedicated to a certain topic. And so a lot of wiki projects are actually dedicated to helping the site of Wikipedia because there's so much that needs to go on behind the scenes to make it work. And so one of these is welcoming new editors. Like I said, it can be a little scary to join, and so there are whole wiki projects dedicated to trying to make the site feel more inclusive and more welcoming and friendly, which is fantastic. And so if you care about that effort, you can join that project. There are other wiki projects dedicated to cleaning up pages. So typos tend to accumulate as people add a lot of great new content to the site. This project comes in afterwards and tries to tidy up what people have written so that everyone can read and understand and enjoy a page a little bit better. And so if one of those sounds like a more relaxing or like approachable task to you, you should join that project and people will guide you on how to do that thing. One strategy for finding out how active a wiki project is to first look at its participants. There should be a list of how many volunteers have decided they want to join in, and they sign their name so that you can contact them easily on their talk pages. And when they sign their name, it tells you when they joined the wiki project. And so if you see that people have been joining recently, it's a good sign that there are still people around on the site that are logging in that will see whenever you do something related to the wiki project, and they can get involved and help you out. Another thing you can do is go to a Wikiprojects talk page. And this is where recent discussions relating to the wiki project happen. So maybe they're planning events. Maybe they're asking each other for help or offering help or mentorship. Maybe they're providing updates on pages that are getting edited. Maybe there's a page up for deletion. Maybe there's a new page that needs some help getting created, and so they'll post about those pages on the talk page to ask each other for some involvement. And so if the talk page has a lot of recent activity, that's a great sign that this is a good space to join and you will get help. On the other side, if it's a little less active, like don't hesitate to reopen the group and post more things on their talk page and see if you can reactivate a space. Generally, Wikipedia marks wiki projects as active, semi-active, or inactive, and this kind of depends on how many people have signed up to do the group, whether the people that signed up are still editing Wikipedia or if it's been like years since they last edited, and how often articles relating to the project are getting updated and how often like new articles relating to the project are getting tagged with that project on their talk pages. And so these are all good proxies for knowing where you want to join. One more way to find good wiki projects to get involved with is by finding this list of popular projects, and it's sorted by how many human-made edits rather than automated bot edits have recently been attached to this project. And so you can see here that some of the top projects are related to kind of site maintenance on Wikipedia and things that help the like whole site run. And so if that's something you care about, there's a lot of other people doing that, and they'll have great tips for how you can get involved. And some of these maintenance things are kind of complicated and hard. I would avoid that if you're just getting started. I would start with the easier ones to get kind of a feel for how the site works, because there's plenty of kind of overwhelming amounts of maintenance tasks out there that actually aren't that hard to do individually once you learn how to do it. And then finally, you can see that like Women in Red right up here, very popular. You can see so many other types of issues and causes that are represented that people are working hard on. And so, again, a lot of these are based on geography, a lot of them are based on topics, a lot of them are based on social issues, and a lot of them are based on types of people and their representation. And I would also note that some of these wiki projects seem like it only applies to one thing. Like if it's wiki project biography, it's probably just focusing on articles that are biographies of people. But other wiki projects can be a little bit broader than you might first think. So the LGBTQ studies wiki project, it's not just about the theory and like the study of LGBTQ people. It also might be about their articles and biographies. It's not just like history articles. It could also be about like events or spaces that are related. And so sometimes the name is a little bit misleading. So if it seems a little bit close to what you care about, I would click on the page, read a bit about it, check it out, and see if it's useful for you. So I hope this was helpful. I would love to know if you've found other ways to get involved with your community at Wikipedia, or if you have questions about ways to get involved with people or ways to connect. Thank you for listening, and I hope you can find a way to get connected.